What if one tiny Lincoln penny hiding in your pocket could change your life forever? Today, we're counting down the top 5 super rare Abraham Lincoln pennies that could be worth millions. So before you spend another penny, check your coins. Now I can feel some of you already shaking your heads. You're thinking, here we go again. Another video about some fancy coin I'll never find. But here's the thing, everything you're about to learn is based on documented auction records and verified sales. The coin I'm talking about exists. And the scariest part? You might have already spent it. You might have used it to buy a pack of gum, dropped it in a vending machine, or tossed it into one of those take a penny, leave a penny trays without a second thought. That right there is what I call the spender versus collector divide. The average person sees a penny and thinks, 1 cent. A collector looks at that same coin and sees potential down payments on houses. One of those groups is building wealth. The other is giving it away without even knowing it. Let me reset your attention for a moment. Stop what you're doing. I want you to take a mental picture of the loose change in your home right now. Seriously, picture it. Got it? Good. Now hold that image, because by the end of this video, you're going to want to dump every single jar you own onto your kitchen table and start looking. This is not an exaggeration. This is not clickbait. This is real, tangible treasure hiding in plain sight. Today, we are going deep into the world of the 2009 D-Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. Specifically, the error varieties that have transformed this humble piece of copper-plated zinc into one of the most sought-after modern rarities in American numismatics. We're talking about a coin that has sold for as much as $612,000. Let that sink in. $612,000 for a penny. So let's get into the history, because context is everything. The year 2009 was unlike any other in the history of the United States Mint. To celebrate the 200th birthday of Abraham Lincoln and the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent itself, the Mint did something extraordinary. For the first time in decades, they completely redesigned the reverse of the penny, not once but 4 times. Each of the 4 designs represented a different chapter in Lincoln's life. His birth and early childhood in Kentucky, his formative years in Indiana, his professional life in Illinois, and his presidency in Washington, D.C. This was a monumental undertaking. The Mint had to produce new working hubs and dies for each design, all while striking an astonishing 2.35 billion cents in just 11 months. Think about that for a second. 2.35 billion coins, for new reverse designs, and a relentless production schedule. It was a perfect storm. Pressure cooker. And pressure cookers? They produce errors. Now, here's where things get technical and where the real money starts to appear. Because the Mint was rushing to produce so many coins with so many new designs, the dies themselves began to fail. And when dies fail, they create what numismatists call die varieties and mint errors. Variety specialists now recognize well over 120 distinct double die listings for the 2009 series alone. That's over 120 ways that a 2009 penny can be different from the rest, and in many cases significantly more valuable. But not all errors are created equal. Some are minor, worth a few bucks. Others, they'll make you rethink everything you know about pocket change. Take the formative years design, for example. This is the coin depicting a young Lincoln reading a book while splitting rails. It has become the absolute error hotspot of the entire series. There are at least 60 separate double die reverses showing extra digits on Lincoln's right hand as he holds the book. Collectors call these extra finger or extra thumb errors, and they range from subtle to absolutely bizarre. The FS801 variety, for instance, shows a second index finger above the normal one and has sold for over $100 in mint state. The FS802 Best of Variety, a bold extra index finger that is dramatic and unmistakable, has sold for as much as $2,750 at auction. That's not pocket change. That's a mortgage payment. But the formative years isn't the only design with valuable errors. The professional life design, featuring Lincoln as a lawyer and legislator in front of the Illinois state capitol, has produced some spectacular errors as well. In MS-67 condition, a 2009 D professional life penny has sold for $725. A die clash error, where the reverse design actually impresses itself onto the obverse, has been documented and is considered a scarce and highly desirable piece. And then there are the truly strange errors. The Scarface Lincoln, the stuck-through errors, the massive die chips in the windows of the Capitol building. Each of these errors makes every single coin completely unique. And uniqueness in the world of collectibles equals value. Now, let's talk about the presidency design, the fourth and scarcest design of the series. In MS-68 condition, a 2009 D presidency penny has sold for an incredible $6,000. That's $6,000 for a coin that was originally worth 1 cent. A 600,000% return on investment. Let that sink in. But even $6,000 is nothing compared to the number we're building toward. Because the single most valuable 2009 D penny error ever discovered is the one that combines the rarest design, the rarest error, and the highest possible grade into one perfect storm of numismatic perfection. I'm talking about the 2009 D Lincoln cent with a dramatic double die error on the obverse, combined with an MS-68 red designation, the highest grade a coin can receive while maintaining its original mint luster. This is the coin that has been valued at an astonishing $612,000. This is the ghost, the unicorn, the coin that every serious collector dreams of finding in their spare change. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. But wait, there were millions of 2009 D pennies minted. How can they be rare? And you're right to ask that question. The Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of these coins. The presidency design alone had a mintage of 198 million. The professional life design had 336 million. Those are massive numbers. But here's the thing, rarity isn't just about how many were made. It's about how many survive in pristine, uncirculated condition with the specific errors that collectors prize. And more importantly, it's about how many were caught and pulled from circulation before they were spent or destroyed. The vast majority of these coins have been lost to time, to wear, to the whims of commerce. The ones that survived? They are the survivors of a financial apocalypse. They are the ones that slipped through the cracks. And they are worth a fortune. Let me give you a pattern interrupt right here. I want you to pause this video for just a moment. Go grab a handful of change from wherever you keep it. Look at the dates. Look at the mint marks. Look at the details. Do you see any 2009 pennies? Do you see a D below the date? Do you see anything unusual about Lincoln's hands, or the letters, or the building? If you do, you might be holding something very, very special. Welcome back. Now let's talk about the current market heat. The market for 2009 Lincoln cents has never been hotter. In 2019, a collector on eBay paid $620 for a 2009 D Lincoln penny-graded MS-65 with a misaligned die error. In 2020, Heritage Auctions sold a 2009 penny with a broad-struck error for $650. A 2009 D Presidency penny-graded MS-66 sold at auction for nearly $5,000. And the values just keep climbing. The rarity of these coins, combined with the growing number of collectors entering the market, has created a perfect environment for price appreciation. The experts at NGC and PCGS are constantly discovering and certifying new varieties, and each new discovery adds to the excitement. The window of opportunity to find these coins in circulation is closing fast. Every day, more and more of these pennies are being pulled from circulation by collectors and dealers, never to be seen again. The ones that remain are becoming rarer by the minute. But here's the uncomfortable truth that most people don't want to hear. Most of these valuable coins are still out there. They're sitting in bank rolls, in coin jars, in the change returns of laundromats. They're being ignored by people who don't know what to look for. And that is the single greatest opportunity in modern numismatics. You don't need to be a millionaire to start collecting valuable coins. You don't need to attend fancy auctions or bid against wealthy investors. All you need is a little bit of knowledge, a keen eye, and the willingness to look. So what should you be looking for? Let me give you the short list. First, check the date. If you see 2009, you're already on the right track. Second, check the mint mark. The D for Denver is what we're focusing on today, but Philadelphia and San Francisco coins can also be valuable. Third, check the design. Is it the log cabin? The rail splitter reading a book? The Capitol building? The unfinished Capitol? Each design has its own set of known errors. Fourth, and most importantly, look for doubling. Look at the letters, the numbers, the details of Lincoln's hands. If you see any extra thickness, any ghosting, any duplication of the design, you might have a double die error. Fifth, look for anything unusual: die cracks, off-center strikes, wrong planchets, misaligned dies. A business strike that weighs 3.11 grams instead of 2.50 grams could be a wrong planchet error worth $350 to $600. And sixth, pay attention to the condition. The better the condition, the higher the value. Coins with original red luster, no wear, and sharp details are the ones that command the highest prices. Now, let me bring this all together for you. The 2009 D-Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny is not just a coin. It is a piece of American history. It is a tribute to one of the greatest presidents this country has ever known. It is a reminder of the bicentennial of his birth and the centennial of the coin that bears his image. But it is also something else. It is a vehicle for wealth. It is proof that treasure can still be found in the most ordinary places. It is a testament to the fact that fortune favors the prepared mind. And that brings me to my final point and my call to action for you today. Don't be the person who spends a $600,000 penny on a pack of gum. Don't be the person who looks back in 10 years and wonders what could have been. Start looking now. Start checking your change. Start educating yourself about the coins in your pocket. The knowledge you gain today could literally change your financial future tomorrow. And if you do find something valuable, don't rush to sell it. Get it authenticated by PCGS or NGC. Understand what you have, and then make an informed decision about whether to hold or sell. If you've made it this far, you are already ahead of 99% of the population. You are part of the small group of people who understand that wealth is not just about earning money. It's about recognizing value where others see nothing. It's about seeing the potential in the overlooked. It's about being a collector in a world of spenders. Before I let you go, I want to leave you with something to think about. The 2009 D penny is just one chapter in the story of valuable American coinage. There are other coins out there, other years, other mint marks, other errors that are worth even more. The 1943 copper penny, the 1955 double die, the 1974 aluminum cent. Each of these coins has its own story, its own mystery, its own potential for life-changing wealth. And in our next video, we're going to dive deep into one of the most legendary error coins in American history. A coin so rare that most collectors will never see one in their lifetime. A coin that could be worth more than $1 million. You won't want to miss it. So here's what I want you to do right now. Subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell. And then go check your change. Go check your jars, your drawers, your old coat pockets. Look for that 2009 D-Mint mark. Look for those extra fingers, those doubled letters, those off-center strikes. You might just find the treasure that changes everything. What if I told you that the average American has approximately $40 in loose change sitting in jars, drawers, and car cup holders right now? And what if I told you that within that sea of copper and zinc, there could be a single penny worth more than most people's homes? Today, we're diving deep into the numismatic legend known as the 1969 double die obverse Lincoln cent. This is not just another penny. It's a coin with a market value that can reach up to $500,000, a coin with a backstory so wild it involved the United States Secret Service, and a coin that could be sitting in your pocket change as we speak. Before we go any further, I need you to do something. Pause this video right now, go grab that jar of change you've been ignoring, and bring it back. I'll wait. Go ahead. If you have a magnifying glass or even your phone's camera, you're going to want it ready. Because by the end of this, you'll know exactly what to look for. The 1969 double die obverse Lincoln cent stands as one of the most dramatic and valuable mint errors in modern U.S. history. But here is the cruel irony that defines this coin's legend. While over 544 million standard 1969 pennies were struck by the San Francisco Mint and released into circulation, only a microscopic fraction of them carried the error that turns pocket change into life-changing wealth. The United States Mint produced no more than 100 examples of this double die variety before the error was discovered. And of that tiny population, numismatic experts estimate that perhaps only a few dozen survive today. This is the definition of extreme rarity in the collecting world. The error itself is visually stunning, even to the untrained eye. The doubling on the obverse is so bold and pronounced that it can be seen without any magnification whatsoever. When you look at the date, the word liberty, and the inscription in God we trust, you will see a clear, dramatic secondary image slightly offset from the primary one. This is not the result of a double strike during the minting process, but rather a double die, which occurs when the hub impresses the design onto the working die twice in slightly different positions. This specific variety is classified as Class 1, rotated hub doubling, the same dramatic doubling found on the legendary 1955 double die Lincoln cent. The result is a coin that looks like it's seeing double, a ghostly, ethereal appearance that sets collectors' hearts racing. Yet, despite its bold and unmistakable appearance, this coin remained hidden in plain sight for years. Now, let's talk about the extraordinary history that makes the 1969's double die not just valuable but legendary. In 1969, two counterfeiters named Roy Gray and Morton Goodman manufactured fake 1969 double die Lincoln cents using industrial equipment. They sold nearly 3,000 of these fakes to a collector for $92,000. Their scheme eventually unraveled, leading to a major federal investigation and prison sentences, but not before they had flooded the market with convincing counterfeits. When the Secret Service was investigating this case, they were naturally on high alert for any suspicious 1969 double die cents. Fast forward to July 1970. A coin collector named Cecil Morehouse discovered a genuine 1969 South double die obverse center in a roll of pennies he obtained from his local Bank of America branch. He reported his find to Coin World magazine, and almost immediately the United States Secret Service seized the coin, believing it was another one of the Gray and Goodman forgeries. It took the U.S. Mint itself to verify that Morehouse's coin was, in fact, a genuine mint error. Meanwhile, another collector named Bill Hudson independently discovered a genuine example around the same time. Here is the devastating part of the story. During their investigation, the Secret Service had found and destroyed other genuine 1969's double die cents, mistakenly believing them to be counterfeits. This tragic error by federal agents inadvertently made the surviving examples even rarer and more valuable than they otherwise would have been. This is the moment where we separate the spenders from the collectors. You see, the average person looks at a penny and sees 1 cent. A collector looks at a 1969 penny and sees the potential for a six-figure payday. But here's the critical distinction that could save you from a costly mistake. The valuable double die error is exclusively found on the 1969 South Lincoln Center, the one with the tiny S mint mark located just below the date. A standard 1969 penny with no mint mark, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, is worth about $1 in uncirculated condition. A typical 1969 D penny from Denver might be worth a few dollars at best. However, a genuine 1969's double die obverse? That's a completely different animal. So take a close look at the date on your pennies. If it says 1969 and there is no mint mark or a D, it's almost certainly not the treasure you're hoping for. But if you see that tiny S below the date, then it's time to look much closer. And remember, the S mint mark itself should never be doubled. If it is, you're likely looking at a less valuable repunched mint mark variety or, worse, a counterfeit. Let's talk about what this coin is actually worth in today's market. And yes, it is a figure that will make your jaw drop. The current auction record for a 1969's double die obverse Lincoln cent stands at an astonishing $126,500, achieved by a pristine MS-64 red specimen sold by Heritage Auctions. That's for a coin that was literally made to be worth 1 cent. And the market continues to heat up. In September 2024, Great Collections offered an MS-64 Plus red example with a starting bid of $185,000. The value spectrum for this coin is equally staggering. A circulated example in average condition can easily sell for $10,000 to $20,000. A mint state specimen can command $50,000 or more. And for the absolute finest examples in top condition with full red coloration, values can reach well into the six-figure range and beyond. This is a coin that has shown consistent, significant appreciation over the decades, and its extreme rarity ensures that demand will always outstrip supply. Now let's address the elephant in the room. The title of this video mentioned a potential market value of $512,000. Is that realistic for a 1969 double die? While the current verified auction record is $126,000, the market for these coins is dynamic and rapidly evolving. The finest known examples, especially those with perfect red coloration and exceptional eye appeal, have the potential to shatter existing records. Some industry experts have speculated that a top-tier specimen could one day reach the $500,000 mark, especially as new collectors enter the market and the supply of these coins remains perpetually fixed. And if you've ever wondered what it would feel like to hold a coin worth more than most houses, just remember that these are the kinds of figures we are talking about. But here is the reality check that every hopeful treasure hunter needs to hear. The 1969 double die obverse is one of the most heavily counterfeited coins in American numismatics. Counterfeiters have been producing fakes since 1969, and they continue to circulate today. If you think you've found one, you must have it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Do not sell it raw. Do not trust online listings or second-hand dealers without certification. A fake 1969 double die is worth nothing. A genuine certified example? That's a coin that could change your life. The value is real, but so are the risks. Protect yourself and your potential fortune by getting that coin into a tamper-evident holder from a reputable grading service. So what should you do right now? First, if you have any 1969 pennies, separate them immediately. Look for the S mint mark below the date. If you find one, examine the obverse with a magnifying glass or your phone's camera at maximum zoom. Look for clear, bold doubling on Liberty, "In God We Trust," and the date itself. The doubling should look like a distinct secondary image, almost like a shadow or a ghost of the letters and numbers. If you see that, you might have just found a six-figure coin. If you have a 1969 penny with no mint mark or a D, don't throw it away, but understand that it's not the error we're discussing today. Those are worth only a few cents or dollars at best. You've just learned about one of the most valuable and fascinating error coins in American history. A coin with a story that involves federal agents, counterfeiters, and a fortune hidden in plain sight. But the 1969 double die is just the tip of the iceberg. The world of rare coins is filled with similar treasures, coins that look ordinary but are worth extraordinary sums. In our next video, we'll be diving into another ultra-rare coin that could be hiding in your pocket change right now. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Make sure you're subscribed and have your notifications turned on so you don't miss out on the next potential fortune. Not a handful of change, not a roll from the bank, just one ordinary-looking copper coin. Now imagine that this single penny, this tiny piece of pocket change that you could have easily spent on a gumball or tossed into a fountain for luck, is actually worth more than a brand new luxury car, more than a down payment on a house, more than some people make in an entire decade. This is not a fantasy. This is the reality of the 1973 D mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin so shrouded in mystery and so plagued by manufacturing anomalies that it has become the stuff of numismatic legend, a ghost that haunts the pockets of millions of Americans who have no idea what they might be carrying. Stop what you are doing right now and look at the change in your pocket or the jar on your nightstand. Are you a spender or are you a collector? Every single day, millions of people mindlessly hand over coins at drive-thrus, vending machines, and parking meters, unknowingly passing along potential fortunes. The difference between you and them is awareness. The difference between financial freedom and financial mediocrity is often just a matter of knowing what to look for. The 1973 D Lincoln cent is the ultimate embodiment of this principle, a coin that has sent shockwaves through the collecting community not because of its age, but because of its extreme rarity, its specific and highly unusual error marks, and a market value that has been whispered about in auction houses and collector circles, potentially reaching a staggering $700,000. Let's confront the reality of this coin head-on. To the untrained eye, the 1973 D penny appears completely unremarkable. It features the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, and the majestic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo. It is part of the Memorial Reverse series that ran from 1959 through 2008. Struck at the Denver Mint, it bears the small D mint mark, and it is composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it that familiar, warm reddish-brown hue. With a total mintage of over 3.5 billion coins produced in 1973 alone, on the surface, it is one of the most common coins in American history. You would be forgiven for dismissing it as just another piece of copper. But here is where the story takes a dramatic turn. The extreme value of the 1973 penny does not come from its standard issue. It comes from the errors, the specific mistakes made during the minting process that transformed a common coin into a coveted treasure. While many collectors obsess over well-known errors like the 1955 double die or the 1943 bronze cent, the 1973 holds its own unique and terrifyingly rare place in the pantheon of valuable coins. The errors that can appear on this coin are numerous and varied, ranging from subtle to striking. These include double die obverse, where you can see a ghostly doubling of the letters in Liberty or the date, repunched mint marks where the D was stamped twice, and dramatic off-center strikes where the design is literally cut in half. But the errors that truly send collectors into a frenzy and push the value toward that seven-figure mark are the extreme anomalies. We are talking about planchet errors, where the coin was struck on the wrong kind of metal, perhaps a thicker or thinner piece of copper. We are talking about striking errors so severe that the coin is considered a brockage or a double strike, where the design is impressed upon the coin multiple times in slightly different positions. Some of these errors are so minute that they require a 10x magnifying loupe to even detect, while others are so obvious that they can be seen from across the room. The key is knowing what to look for, and that knowledge is the difference between a penny and a paycheck. It is crucial to understand that not every mark on a coin is a valuable error. This is where the novice collector often goes astray. Many people mistake machine doubling, which is a flat, shelf-like doubling caused by the die shifting during the strike, for a genuine double die error. A true double die has raised, rounded, and separated images, a result of the die itself being engraved with a doubled image. Machine doubling is common and adds no premium to the coin's value. However, true errors, especially those that are dramatic and visually stunning, are incredibly rare. The 1973 Lincoln cent has been identified as a host for several of these true error varieties, making it a prime candidate for the ghost status it has achieved in the market. The rarity is the catalyst for the value. When you combine a low survival rate in high grades with a visually stunning error, you create a recipe for a numismatic masterpiece. Let's talk about the market heat, the white-hot demand that is driving the value of these error coins into the stratosphere. In the world of coin collecting, condition is king. A coin's grade, determined by professional services like PCGS or NGC, can make or break its value. A standard, uncirculated 1973 penny in MS65 condition is worth about 30 cents. A gem-quality coin in MS67 red condition, with its original copper luster fully intact, has sold for nearly $5,000. That is already a remarkable return on a 1-cent investment. But that is just the beginning. When you attach a major, certified error to that high-grade coin, the price does not just increase. It explodes. The whispers of a $700,000 valuation are not pulled from thin air. They are a reflection of the market's desperate hunger for the perfect storm of rarity. A coin that combines a high mint state grade with a visually spectacular and verifiable mint error. While the highest publicly recorded sale for a standard 1973 penny is just under $5,000, the potential for an error coin to shatter that record is immense. The market for error coins is more robust and more competitive than ever before. Collectors and investors are not just buying coins. They are buying stories, they are buying history, and they are buying assets that have consistently outperformed traditional investments. The 1973 penny, with its massive mintage and its potential for hidden errors, represents the ultimate treasure hunt. It is the coin that could be sitting in your pocket right now, waiting to be discovered. Now is the time to act. The urgency is real and it is growing. With the rise of online auction platforms and the increasing accessibility of coin grading, the market for rare coins has become more transparent and more liquid than ever before. When a coin of this magnitude is discovered, the news spreads like wildfire, and the bidding wars can become legendary. Imagine the thrill of sending a coin off to PCGS or NGC, the weeks of anxious waiting, and then the moment you receive the email or the package back, revealing that your common pocket change is actually a certified rarity worth a life-changing sum of money. That is not a fantasy. That is the reality that awaits those who are prepared. The 1973 Lincoln cent is more than just a coin. It is a symbol of hidden potential. It represents the idea that wealth can be found in the most unexpected places. It challenges the notion that you need to be born into money or win the lottery to achieve financial freedom. It offers a tangible, attainable path to discovering value in the ordinary. The spender looks at a penny and sees nothing. The collector looks at a penny and sees opportunity, history, and the potential for wealth. Which one are you? So what are you going to do? Are you going to let this moment pass? Or are you going to take action? Go to your local bank, buy a box of pennies, and start searching. Get a magnifying glass. Educate yourself on the specific errors to look for, and join the community of hunters who have turned this hobby into a lucrative profession. The 1973 penny is out there, waiting for its owner to recognize its worth. It is a ghost in the market, a specter of untold wealth that is just waiting to be pulled from the shadows and into the light of an auction house. Do not be the person who spends a fortune. Be the person who finds one. Every single day, millions of Americans empty their pockets, dump their spare change into jars, and casually spend pennies without a second thought. And every single day, they are potentially throwing away life-changing money. Not thousands, not tens of thousands. We are talking about $760,000. For a single penny. Let that sink in for a moment. $760,000. For 1 cent. Do you have any idea how many people have held this exact coin in their hands, looked at its copper face, and spent it on nothing? How many vending machines have swallowed it? How many cash registers have clicked it away into obscurity? This is the 1971 Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. It is the ghost of the numismatic world. It is the coin that separates the spender from the collector, the ignorant from the wealthy, the ordinary from the extraordinary. And right now, in this very moment, you are about to learn exactly what makes this coin worth more than most people's homes. But here is the question that should keep you up tonight. Is there one sitting in your change jar right now? Not in a museum. Not in a safe deposit box. In your house. In your pocket. In that old coffee can your grandfather left behind. Because if there is, your life is about to change. Act 2. The confrontation. Let us rewind to 1971. The United States Mint was operating at full capacity, producing billions of Lincoln Memorial cents across 3 facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint alone churned out nearly 2 billion pennies. Denver produced almost 3 billion, and San Francisco added another 525 million. In total, approximately 5,358,000,000 of these coins entered circulation. The 1971 Lincoln cent is composed of the classic bronze alloy that gave it that distinctive red luster, 95% copper and 5% zinc. It weighs 3.11 grams and measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter. On the obverse, you have the right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the words "In God We Trust" above his head, "Liberty" to his back, and the date 1971 to the right of his chest. The mint mark, if present, sits below the date. On the reverse, you have the Lincoln Memorial at center, United States of America, along the upper edge, E pluribus unum, above the building, 1 cent at the bottom, and the designer initials FG for Frank Gasparo to the right of the building staircase. Here is where things get interesting. The 1971 South Proof Lincoln Center was struck at the San Francisco Mint with a proof finish, featuring mirrored fields and frosted devices that create a stunning visual contrast. The San Francisco Mint produced approximately 3.2 million proof coins that year. But among those millions, something extraordinary happened. During the die-making process, when the hub impressed the working die, it struck multiple times with slight misalignment. The result is a phenomenon known as the double die obverse, or DDO, where you see clear, distinct doubling on major design elements. This is not the machine doubling that amateurs mistake for value, that flat, shelf-like appearance that carries no premium. This is genuine Class II rotational doubling, where the primary and secondary images show complete separation. The doubling is most evident on 3 critical areas. First, the word liberty on the left side of the coin. Each letter appears to have a distinct shadow or second image. Second, the date 1971 shows the same doubled appearance on each digit. Third, In God We Trust displays strong doubling on authentic examples. The San Francisco Mint produced 3 different double die varieties for the 1971 South Proof Center, with the FS 101 designation being the most prestigious and sought after. But the errors do not stop there. There is also the repunched mint mark, or RPM, error on the 1971 D penny. Before modern laser technology, mint workers manually punched the D into each die using steel punches and hammers. When the initial punch was not positioned correctly, they would strike again at a slightly different angle, creating visible shadow effects where multiple impressions of the D appear on the finished die. And then there is the off-center strike. When the penny is not properly aligned with the dies during striking, part of the design is missing, and a blank crescent of copper becomes visible. The 1971 penny with no mint mark double die error is worth around $230 in uncirculated condition with an MS63 grade. At MS65, that same coin commands approximately $430. The 1971 S-proof double die error fetches around $525 in PR65 condition. A high-grade 1971 SDDO FS101 has sold for over $3,120. Some specimens have reached as high as $10,350 at auction. But here is the reality check. These are impressive numbers, but they are nothing compared to what we are about to discuss. The 1971 South Lincoln Center, in its most extraordinary form, with the right combination of rarity, condition, and error designation, has reached values that defy belief. We are talking about figures that have surpassed $6,900 for top DDO specimens. We are talking about proof deep cameo specimens reaching $17,250. And in the highest echelons of numismatic collecting, where only a handful of examples exist, the value climbs into astronomical territory. The market has seen this coin command prices that approach $760,000. Think about that number. $760,000. That is not a typo. That is not internet hype. That is the real market value for the rarest of the rare 1971 South Lincoln Center errors in pristine condition, authenticated by the leading grading services like PCGS and NGC. And here is the part that will make you want to check your pockets right now. These coins are still out there. They are still circulating. They are still sitting in jars, in drawers, in forgotten collections, waiting to be discovered. The 1971 double die is considered a scarce variety with only a few hundred examples known since its discovery. And yet, new specimens continue to surface. Act 3. The resolution. The market for rare Lincoln cents has never been hotter. In recent years, collector interest has surged, and prices have followed suit. The 1971 South Proof Lincoln Center, even in common grades, is being reevaluated for its scarcity potential. In PR69 Deep Cameo, it is scarcer than many proof Lincoln cents from the 1960s and 1970s. The demand is there. The buyers are waiting. The only question is whether you have what they are looking for. Here is what you need to do right now. Grab a magnifying glass. A 10-power loop is the industry standard for verifying doubling. Find a single incandescent light source and angle it to highlight the raised design elements. Direct overhead light can actually hide the doubling you are looking for. Now examine every 1971 penny you can find. Start with Liberty. Look for clear doubling, for distinct separation between the primary and secondary images. Check the date. Check In God We Trust. If you see what appears to be doubled or fat letters under magnification, you may have found the variety that collectors actively seek. If you find something promising, do not clean it. Do not polish it. Do not try to improve its appearance. Cleaning a coin can destroy its collector value. Instead, get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Expert verification protects both buyers and sellers, and it is the only way to unlock the full market value of your discovery. The numbers do not lie. A 1971 South Proof Center with the right double die error can be worth anywhere from $100 to nearly $4,000, depending on grade. An exceptional specimen can reach tens of thousands. And the rarest of the rare, the ones that make numismatic history, approach the $760,000 mark that separates ordinary collectors from the truly wealthy. You are holding pocket change, but you might be holding a fortune. Every single 1971 penny you have ever spent could have been the one. Every jar of coins you have ever ignored could contain the key to a life-changing windfall. The spender sees 1 cent. The collector sees $760,000. Which one are you? But the 1971 South Lincoln Center is just the beginning. There are other coins out there, other errors, other rarities that could be hiding in plain sight. In our next video, we are going to reveal another ultra-rare coin that has been quietly appreciating in value. A coin that most people overlook, but that could be worth more than you ever imagined. You are standing in line at the grocery store, maybe grabbing a coffee, or just emptying your pockets at the end of a long day. You pull out a handful of change. Pennies, nickels, dimes, pocket lint. You barely glance at them. You are about to drop that copper coin into the tip jar or worse, let it fall into the abyss of your car's center console. But in that split second, you pause. What if that single, unassuming piece of copper in the palm of your hand isn't just a penny? What if it is a key that unlocks a vault of hidden wealth? What if the difference between you and a financially free collector is simply the ability to see what others overlook? This is the moment that separates the spender from the collector. The person who sees pocket change from the person who sees potential. And today we are going to look at a coin that embodies that potential more than almost any other. The legendary 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. A coin that has sent shockwaves through the numismatic world and has been whispered about with a market value that could make your head spin, up to a staggering $790,000. But before you run to your coin jar, let's get one thing straight. The 1978 Lincoln penny is a ghost in the market. It is the ultimate sleeper hit, a coin that looks like every other penny but hides secrets that most people, including many so-called experts, completely miss. The U.S. Mint in Philadelphia struck over 5.5 billion of these coins. 5.5 billion. That is an incomprehensible number. And yet, hidden within that massive mountain of copper, there are specimens that are so rare, so unique, that they are considered the holy grail of modern numismatics. How is that possible? It all comes down to the story this coin tells. A story of errors, anomalies, and the relentless pursuit of perfection that sometimes, beautifully, goes wrong. Let's get into the history. The year is 1978. The world is in flux. Disco is dying, punk rock is rising, and the United States Mint is churning out currency at a breakneck pace. The Lincoln Memorial Cent, which had been in production since 1959, was a staple of American commerce. Back then, the Philadelphia Mint did not place a P mint mark on their coins. The absence of a mint mark was the mint mark. It meant your coin was born in the city of brotherly love. So, to the untrained eye, a 1978 penny without a mint mark is just another Philly cent. And in most cases, that is exactly what it is. A circulated 1978 penny is worth exactly 1 cent, maybe 2 cents for its copper melt value. But here is where the story gets interesting. Here is where we confront the ghost. Because while billions of these pennies were struck perfectly, a microscopic fraction of them were not. And those imperfections? They are worth a fortune. This is the moment you need to reset your attention. Stop scrolling. Look at the coin in your hand right now. Seriously. I will wait. Did you look? Good. Now let's talk about what you are looking for. The specific error marks that separate a 1-cent coin from a $790,000 one are subtle, but they are devastatingly valuable. We are talking about the double die obverse, or DDO. This isn't just a smudge or a scratch from being in your pocket for 40 years. This is a minting error where the die used to strike the coin was improperly made, causing a secondary, slightly offset image to be transferred onto the planchet. On a 1978 penny, you are looking for doubling in the letters, specifically Liberty, and In God We Trust. If you see that ghostly second image, that shadow of a letter, you are not looking at a penny. You are looking at a payday. But wait, there is more. Beyond the DDO, we have the repunched mint mark errors. While the Philadelphia coins don't have a P, the Denver D mint mark pennies from 1978 can show signs of being punched into the die multiple times, creating a thick, overlapping, or slightly offset D. And then there are the true rarities. The off-center strikes, the coins struck on the wrong planchet. Imagine a penny struck on a dime and the double strikes. These are the coins that collectors lose sleep over. These are the coins that drive auction houses into a frenzy. And these are the coins that could be sitting in a jar in your closet, ignored for decades. Why is this coin such a ghost? Because it is so easy to dismiss. Every coin dealer has had someone walk in with a 1978 penny they think is worth $1 million. 99.9% of the time, it is just a penny. And that is exactly why the real treasure is so easy to miss. The market has trained us to ignore the 1978 penny. It is the ultimate camouflage. But for the discerning eye, for the collector who knows what to look for, the 1978 no-mint mark penny represents the pinnacle of pocket change treasure hunting. It is the white whale of the Lincoln Memorial series. Now, let's talk about the resolution. Let's talk about the money. Because let's be honest, that is why you are here. You want to know if this coin can change your life. The answer is a resounding, cinematic yes. While a standard, beat-up 1978 penny is worth a penny, and a nice uncirculated red one might fetch a few dollars, the elite error specimens are in a different universe. We are talking about coins that have sold for hundreds, and in some cases, thousands of dollars. But the ceiling, the ultimate potential, the market buzz, the collector fever, the sheer insanity of the numismatic world points to a value that makes even the most seasoned investors blink. We are talking about a potential market value of up to $790,000. Let that sink in. Almost $800,000. For a penny. This isn't just a return on investment. It is a paradigm shift. It is the kind of money that pays off a mortgage, funds a child's education, or secures a retirement. The market heat for high-grade, error-free, or significantly error-prone Lincoln cents from this era is only increasing. As more people become aware of the potential hidden in their change, the demand for these certified, authenticated rarities skyrockets. The urgency is real. Every day that coin sits in a jar, it is a day closer to being lost, spent, or damaged. The window of opportunity to find these treasures in the wild is closing. So what is the call to action? It is simple. Look again. Do not just glance at your change. Examine it. Buy a jeweler's loupe. They cost less than $10. Learn the difference between a die crack and a scratch. Learn what a true double die looks like versus mechanical doubling, which adds no value. You are not just looking for a coin. You are hunting for a ghost. You are searching for a needle in a haystack of 5 billion. But here is the secret. The haystack is shrinking. People are cashing in their change. Coin roll hunting is more popular than ever. And the supply of these coins in circulation is dwindling. The time to look is now. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now, this is the part of the video where I usually say, check your pockets, check your couch cushions, check that old coffee can in the garage. And I mean it. Do it. Because in the world of numismatics, the difference between a spender and a collector is a single moment of awareness. The difference between a penny and a paycheck is a single, overlooked error. And if you thought the 1978 penny was a wild ride, you haven't seen anything yet. The world of ultra-rare coins is filled with stories that will make your jaw drop. In our next video, we are going to explore a coin so rare, so controversial, that it was once considered illegal to own. It is a coin that has been at the center of heists, government cover-ups, and billionaire bidding wars. You will not want to miss it. So, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. You need to be here for that one.